All right. Good morning, everybody. Today is Daf Nun Dalid. I think we are going to pick up Nun Gimel Amid Beis, about maybe 5-6 lines or so from the bottom, the two dots. So the Mishnah talked about we're going to focus on the last two halachas of the previous Mishnah, and then we'll do the last Mishnah of the Perek. But the Mishnah talked about a halacha that we've actually seen throughout the Masechta a few times. So we're focused on the nezek of bor. And something that we've seen is that a bar is not high when it comes to kalim. So the Mishnah, I'll read it inside quickly. The Mishnah said that if you have a shar that falls into a bar, right? Nafal asoko shar, the kalav finished tabru. So a shar falls in and it's carrying its load, its kalim, and the kalim break. Or a chamar v'kalav, or a chamar and it's got its kalim v'niskaru, and they tear. So chayev al habehema pater ala kalim. You're going to be chayev on the behema, but you're going to be pater on the kalim. And like I said, this is a halacha that we've kind of seen throughout the Masechta. So we pick up the Gemara. The Gemara says, "Masnisin below Rabbi Yehuda." This idea that you're putter from kalim in the bar reflects the view of the Chachamim, but it's not the view of Rabbi Yehuda. Tanya, we have a brisa. Then Gimel on the base at the bottom. We have a brisa. Rabbi Yehuda mechayev on this kalim of bar. Yehuda says that the Baal Habar is chayev not only on the animal, he's also going to be chayev on the kalim themselves. My time at Rabbanan. What is the reason? What's the Rabbanan's reasoning that you're putter from kalim in the bar? The Amar Krab, they learn a drasha. The pasuk says, "V'naf al shama sharu chamar," and they learn shar below adam, chamar below kalim. So from the word shar, you learn that you're chayev shar in a bar. You're not chayev if a person falls in your bar. And from the word chamar, you learn that you're chayev an animal, the chamar, but you're not chayev the kalim. So Rabbi Yehuda, so what does he do with his drasha? Right? Why does he say they are chayev kalim in the bar? He says, "Oh, l'rabas that's a kalim." What does the pasuk say? Shar o chamar. V'nafal shama shar o chamar. Why do I need the word to say o? Well, we're going to get there, right? What do we do with the word o? O is coming to teach me a drasha that you're even chayev the kalim. Rabbanan. So to Alan's question, what do you mean? How are you going to understand this pasuk? O m'vaylei l'chalik. Meaning Alan's question. If I didn't have the word o, it would say v'nafal shama shar v'chamar. I would have a havamina that you're only going to be chayiv if two animals fall into my bar. What if there's only one animal walking down the street, right? So I need the pasuk to say, "Oh," to teach me that it's any animal that falls in, I'm chayiv for him. So Rabbi Yehuda, what does he do with that? Rabbi Yehuda l'chale, how does he know? So he says, "V'naf me v'nafal naf." Rashi points out that again, the pasuk says, "V'nafal shama sharu kamar." Rashi says that v'nafal is lashon yachid, meaning if the pasuk says that v'nafal shama shar v'chamar. Right, and I would have known that it's dafka a shar or a chamar. How? It says shar v'chamar because it says v'nafal. Had it said v'nafalu shar v'chamar, that would mean I need both to fall in. If it says v'nafal, then that's mashma singular. So now why do I need v'nafal shama shar o chamar? O is extra. O is extra. It's being marbev the kalim. We're gonna get there. Sounds like Alan learned this before.
But we're the kalim in a board.
Well, not Rabbi Yehuda. That's the entire point. That's Shitas Chachamim, not Shitas Rabbi Yehuda.
Specifically?
No. We're going to get to why did we need to say more than one animal. I mean, Alan's question is to say v'nafal shama shar. Why do I need a shar and a chamar? So we're going to get to that. The bottom line, where we are right now, is the word v'nafal is singular, right? And therefore, I would know that notwithstanding the fact that the pasuk uses two examples, you don't need both to happen. I only need one to happen. For Rabbanan, what do they do with that? So they say v'nafal tu v'mashma. They say even though you're right, v'nafal is singular, just because the Torah uses a word in the singular doesn't necessarily mean it can't imply both. Rashi gives 3 examples from Nach, never the word v'nafal, by the way. But so, for example, the first one is the second line of Rashi, right? So v'nafal tu v'mashma. So the first one's from Nach, asa, which is a lashon singular, b'tzala v'ahaliyah. Sounds like they both did it. Should have said v'asu, b'tzala v'ahaliyah, but it says v'asa. It could still be. And 2 other examples from Chumash. It says uba, even though that's singular, right? You look at the second example in Rashi, uba ha'ariv esado. Should have said uba ha'ariv esado. So again, it's kind of weird because in our example, it's v'nafal. You would have liked to see an example of like v'nafal meaning two, but Rashi gives us 3 different examples where just because the Torah uses a word in the singular doesn't necessarily mean that it's in the singular. It could also mean plural. Okay, so again, we had this machlokas, the Rabbanan and Rabbi Yehuda about kalim, and now we're really going to get to Alan's question, which is really going to parse the pasuk itself and really focus on why did we have a few examples. And the way the Gemara is going to ask it is through the medium of klal, prat, klal, right? So just to back up for 1 second, right? Something that comes up all the time. It's worth taking 10 seconds to just refresh on the klal, prat, and the klal, prat, klal. Whenever you have a klal and then a prat, right? We say this every single morning, and maybe Shmuel Omer, it's one of the Yud Gimel Midos. Notwithstanding the fact that you start with a klal, when you have a prat, the way you darshan that is ein beklal ela ma'ashteva prat. You almost like forget the fact that there was an inclusive general term, and we focus on the prat in the pasuk. So, for example, if you have a klal prat, and the pasuk said, our pasuk, for example, the nafal sham ashar or chamar, we'd say you're dafka chayiv if it's a shar or a chamar, no other animals. When you have a klal prat klal, which we'll see if our pasuk falls into either one of those things, then we go back to looking at the more inclusive general klal. What about the prat? So we say it's just it's not limited to a shar and a chamar. It's limited to all animals that are similar to a shar or a chamar. And you have to understand what are the qualities of the shar or the chamar. But for example, a gamal might also be included. A sus might also be included. A chicken might also be included. You just have to understand what is unique about the shar and the chamar. So that's the difference between a klal and a prat, and a klal and a prat and a klal. Either way, so the Gemara says, Ema v'nafal, which is very general, says something falls. Maybe that's a klal. Shar v'chamar is a prat. So therefore we have a klal uprat. Ein beklal elamash have a prat. Shar v'chamar in. No. Why don't I learn from the fact that the Torah specified shar v'chamar? This is a klal uprat, and therefore the entire halacha of a bar is dafka. If a shar or a hamar falls into my bar. Anything else falls into my bar, I'm pater.
Good question.
So
why does it have to give two examples?
We're going to get there. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Very good. So the Gemara says, Amri Bal Habar Yishalim. Bal Habar Yishalim, you have to understand why, but this sounds like it's another general klal. Therefore, it's chazer of a klal. Now you have a klal, uprat, uklal. Iatadan elake ein haprat. So now it's more general. You don't focus just on the shar and the chamar, but it's anything similar to the shar and the chamar. Mahaprat, mefurish balei chayim, akol balei chayim. So just like the shar and the chamar are animals, right? So too, any animal is going to be included. But the Gemara says, Ima haprat, meaning once we're going down this road of the klal, prat, klal, we have to understand what is it about the shar and the chamar. Don't just say they're animals. That can be a little bit more exclusive than just the fact that they're animals. Ima haprat, mefurish davar shenivlasa mitama b'mago b'masa, af kol davar shenivlasa mitama b'mago b'masa. Chamar and shar are unique in the sense that they are both animals, where their nevela is matame b'mago b'masa. So certain animals, right? We never really think of this, but animals that are a nevela, right, they weren't shechted properly, they have a certain tumah where even if you just carry the carcass, you can become tumah. I've always wondered what happens. I don't know if we're mocking about this nowadays, but if you walk in a jewel and you just go to the treif beef and you pick it up, like, are you matama because of this issue? That's an avela, I think, right? I think that's how it works, right?
It's really arguing.
I'm sorry? Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
It's wrapped in plastic.
Yeah. But it can be covered. If you pick it up, yeah, it's masa. Matama v'mago v'masa. So the point is that a chamar and a shar both are unique in the sense that their nevela creates this tumah to the exclusion of what? An oaf, for example, a chicken doesn't have this tumah. If you pick up an avela oaf, it is not matama v'mago v'masa. It is only matama be'blia. You have to swallow treif chicken. So if you get like a Chick-fil-A sandwich and you eat it, that's when you would have the tumah. But just by picking up, if you're at a lunch function at work and you pick up Chick-fil-A, it's not necessarily matama b'mago b'masa. So the Gemara is saying, I understand that we have this klal product klal, but why are you suggesting that with this klal product klal, I can be marba all the animals? Maybe I can only be marba animals that share in this quality of the shar and the chamar, that it's matama b'mago b'masa, it's nevela. But an oaf isn't matama that way. So aval ofos lo. Maybe I'll tell you that if your chicken is walking down the road and it falls into a bar, you're potter, right? So all animals are chayiv except for ofos. But the Gemara says, yeah, seriously. But im kain, this is Eddie's question. If that's true, nichta rachman achad prata. Why do I need the Torah to teach me shar v'chamar? In order to teach me the klal prat klal, I only needed one prat. I only needed shar or the chamar. So the fact that I have shar v'chamar, it must be teaching me two things. So it's teaching me the shar, the klal prat klal, and it's then giving me another prat to even be marbe ofos. That's how I should know that all animals are included in this halacha of bar. But the Gemara says, I don't think that's true because I couldn't just write one. I couldn't just write shar or chamar because haynichtov. Which one should I have written? Because of shar. If I only said shar, hava mina krav legavim mizbeach in she'eno krav legavim mizbeach lo. I would think that the unique quality of the shar is that it's kosher lemizbeach. There's a lot of animals that aren't. Sus, gamal, whatever it is, all these animals you would think are not shaykh to bar. Because of rachmana chamar, and if the Torah said chamar, which again is not kosher lemizbeach, but hava mina kadosh bebechora in she'en kadosh bebechora lo. Chamar has another unique halacha, and that it's shaykh in the mitzvah of Pesach Chamar. It has a certain kedusha merecha, which again a gamal and a sus and all those other things don't have, right? So therefore, I needed shar and I needed chamar. The bottom line, where are we right now? Where we are right now is how do I know that a chicken is, a bala bar is chayav when a chicken falls into my bar? In theory, I have a klal prop klal, and I should be able to say that I only include certain animals, but I exclude other animals. Ella amar.
Why wouldn't the generalization be that it's only a beast of burden? An animal that carries.
Yeah, so anytime you've got these call protocols, you got
both of those are shor and chamor.
Exactly.
Are beast of burden.
But it's probably going to be something halachic. There's got to be some certain halachic status. So I mean, you're right. I don't know exactly how you parse exactly what, but right now the suggestion is that the halachic quality that we would say that's unique about these prat is that nevela is metam b'masa. So it's not just like a factual thing. Like they tend to carry. I'm sure you could probably have a chicken carry something light. I imagine. I have no idea. Say that again. Sorry.
I want to do it only by a halachic standpoint. You do have chaya and other domesticated animals.
Chai and behema, yeah.
Yeah, so there is some validity.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that's where we are right now. How do I know, right? If a chicken crosses the road and falls into a bar, how do I know that the bala bar? I heard Alan say that in the back. So the bottom line is the Gemara says, let's just fall off the klal protocol. And this is one of these things that I always struggle with. There's no way for us to know when would we do a klal protocol, when we not do a klal. This is all you need to be of the time period of the Gemara to be able to know exactly when. But the Gemara falls off and says, and Rashi says, you're right, there is no klal protocol. How do I know that opos would be included? Amar Kra, V'hamesi Yelo. The end of the pasuk of the bar says V'hamesi Yelo, Kol Davar Misa. Kol Davar Misa, anything that can die is subject to the halacha of a bar. And that's how I know that you include a chicken. We're going to get there. But even before we get there, we're going to talk about kalim, right? How do we open the top? Yes. We said there's a machlokas, Rabbanan and Rabbi Yehuda, if you're chayiv kalim or you're patur kalim. The Rabbanan said, if you're patur kalim, how do I know? From a drasha. And Rabbi Yehuda actually says you're chayiv kalim. So the Gemara says, I don't understand. Bein the Rabbanan to come a matilu lekalim, bein the Rabbi Yehuda the marbalu lekalim, kalim b'nei misa ninu, kalim are b'nei misa. So if the entire source for teaching me the ister, right, is v'hamesi alo, why would the Rabbanan need a pasuk to teach me that you're not chayiv kalim? Kalim aren't b'nei misa. And how does Rabbi Yehuda say you are chayiv kalim? They're not b'nei misa. So the Gemara says, Amri shviratan zu hi misa. This is as far that we've seen before already. That no, breaking the cleave is its misa on its one end. So from the word v'hamesi elo, I might have thought to even include kalim. Kamash malan, the Rabbanan will say we have another drasha. So now Ularav, right? This brings us back earlier in the week, or I guess last week. Ularav, the Amar Bar Shechayva Alav Torah Lahavala Volachavato. Rav always says when you're chayav bar rabim, it's the hevel of the bar. It's not necessarily the hitting your head on the floor itself, right? Because that's karka olam. It's really the hevel. How could you ever be chayav kalim, right? Bein l'Rabbanan, bein l'Rabbi Yehuda, kalim b'nei havala ninu. It's a similar kasha we just asked. And Amri, they said yes. B'chadati, apparently newer kalim demafki mahabla. They, I guess, can be damaged from this hevel of the bar, and that's how Rav would make that work. But either way, the Gemara says where we are right now is that the words "v'hamesi alo" is what teaches me that you're chayiv niskei for all these different animals in a bar. But the Gemara says "Chayiv v'hamesi alo," but these words can't be used for this because we need them for what Rava taught us yesterday, right? To Amar Rava, shar psulei hamikdashin. If you have a shar psulei hamikdashin, shenaf ala bar pater, right? So again, what's a psulei hamikdashin? It's an animal that was. It was kedusha taguf. It was supposed to go on the mizbeach, and then it got a mum, so you have to be poted. And Rashi in the sugi yesterday said it's really lapdavka. We're dealing with a shar hektish right now. It talked about this goofy case for a specific purpose, but big picture, a shar that's hektish, you'd be patur if it falls in a bar. How do we know? This one would be excluded because you can't do whatever you want with the carcass. But the point is, Rava used the words to teach me that a shar of hektish, or even a shar psuli amikdashin, wouldn't be chayiv in a bar. So how do I have the words to teach me this other halacha that I'd be chayiv for all the animals in a bar? Ela Markra, the Gemara says you're right. Another pasuk, another word in the same pasuk, kesef yashiv lebailav. This is again, it's the same exact pasuk, right? The pasuk says Bal habar yishalem kesef yashiv lebailav b'hamesi yalo. The Rabos called islay bailim. What it's saying is anything that has an owner is subject to niske bar. Hachi, Alan's question, afilu kalim ba'adam nami. Right? Kalim and Adam can have an owner, and Adam can be a slave, and Kalim certainly can have an owner. So shouldn't they also be included in Niske Bar? Amar Kra, Shar below Adam, Chamar below Kalim. So that's why I need the drasha of Shar below Adam, Chamar below Kalim to specifically teach me that I wouldn't be Chayim. So the Gemara says, okay, we're just trying to tie up the loose ends over here, right? Ul Rabbi Yehuda, become Marbelu Kalim. So now, what if you're Rabbi Yehuda who's Marba the Kalim? Bishlam Shar b'maype Adam. I can understand why you need the word Shar to tell me that I'm patur from Adam. Ela chamar, my mamet. What does he do with chamar? Right? The Rabbanan, you have chamar. Meaning we have a pasuk that says I should be chayiv Adam, I should be chayiv Kalim, I should be chayiv everything, anything that can have an owner. Therefore, I need the word shar and chamar to teach me that I'm patur from Adam and Kalim. But for Rabbi Yehuda, if I'm chayiv Kalim, what do I do with chamar? So the Gemara says, Ela Amar Rava, kind of a shocking answer. Chamar debar Rabbi Yehuda. It said, you're right. It's just a kasha. Meaning, I don't know what the answer is. Rabbi Yehuda is going to have to tell us what he does with chamar. And the other example here, if you look at Rashi, this is maybe you'll get to this soon. I think it's in Bava Metzia. Kind of like, where is it? I'm not entirely sure. But the word seh in the pasuk of Hashavas Aveda, also you have to see the sugi over there. Apparently, they don't know what to do with it. Okay. So now we go to the last line of the Mishnah on Daf Nun Beis Amid Aleph. It's a bit of a cryptic line, and it said Nafal Socho Shar Cheresh Shota Bekatan Chayv. If a Shar Cheresh Shota Bekatan falls into a bar, you're Chayv. And I don't know, if Yoel spoke this out of the time, but it's a little cryptic. Are we talking about a Shar that's a Cheresh Shota Bekatan, or are we talking about a Shar that belongs to a Cheresh Shota Bekatan? Right. So that's what the Gemara is going to work out right now. So again, we're a few lines from the bottom of Nun Dalet Amid Aleph. Shar Cheresh Shota Bekatan Chayv. My Shar Cheresh Shota Bekatan. Ilema Shar Shel Cheresh Shar Shel Shota Shar Shel Katan. Maybe that's what we're talking about, and that's where you're Chayiv. The Gemara says Hashar Shel Pikach Pater. Are you telling me that a regular person's not a regular person, but a person who's a Pikach, his Shar is going to be Pater? Right? That we've never seen that before, right? So Amar Rabbi Yochanan, no. It's the Shar Shehu Cheresh, Shar Shehu Shota, Shar Shehu Katan. Literally a Shar that is a Shota. The Mefarshim really struggle with the Shar Shehu Katan because that's like not a thing. I don't know what a Shar that's a Shota is, but like a Shar of a Katan, you think like even once a Shar is born, they're like something, right? There's no either way.
If I go to
And not only that,
in the farm, I would know if he's deaf or not. That's also
Well, we happen to have had, and I believe I may have been doing the daf one day where we had instances of shars that were smart, that knew how to like drink beer to cure toothache or like burn stuff and roll around. So we've had examples of like smart shars. Yeah.
You also said there was more where you could call your animal when it comes.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have examples of smart animals, right? But now we have, I guess, other types of animals. But the point is that was
we would have referred
the
to
katan as something else. Yeah. So the Mefarshim do struggle with the katan. But either way, and this answer the Gemara is saying that it's the Mishnah is teaching us that dafka these shmarim, a shar that's a shota or a cheresh, that's where you're chayiv. But the Gemara says, if you turn the page, right, hashar shu b'keach pater, is it really true that a shar that's a b'keach you'd be pater? Again, Rashi says, bit me like we've never heard of such a thing, right? That a shar that's a b'keach you're going to be pater. So Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah lomabai kamar. You should read the Mishnah as a lomabai. Lomabai is shar shehu b'keach dechayiv. It's obvious that a shar that's a b'keach you're going to be chayiv when he walks into the bar. Aval shar cheresh shota v'katan ema charushaso garmalo or katnuso garmalo, the lifter. Maybe you have a havamina that the balabar should be putter if one of these disabled type of shards falls in, because you could say, listen, it's not my fault. It's the fact that the shar, whatever. So Kamas Milan, they are still high. So that's kind of what the Gemara is thinking right now. That's what the line of the Gemara is teaching me. Maybe there's some havamina that's not a very strong havamina. Maybe there's a havamina that a specific type of shar you would be putter Kamas Milan your chai. Suma. Yeah. And Elam is a mute. I don't know. I've heard of smart charm, not ones that can talk. Yeah.
It's blind, more than someone.
And we've actually seen that. By the way, that's going to be the maskana of the Gemara, by the way. We actually have seen examples where in the dark or a suma, there's more of a reason to be chayiv. But either way, we'll get there. Amar later of Achal Ravina. So Rav Achad said to Ravina, he said, "Ba'atana, we have a brisa, and it says Nafal Atzocho Bar Das Pater." Right up on the top of the Amud, we said that was like untenable that you would be Pater for a Bar Das. But bottom line is, we have a brisa, and it seems like it's saying that when a person who's a Bar Das falls into something that's a Bar Das falls into a bar, you're going to be Pater. My love, Shar Bar Das. Isn't that talking about a Shar that's a Bar Das? Right, and you thought that was like crazy, but maybe not. We have a brisa that seems to say it. No, Amar Lo, Adam. We're talking about an Adam. An Adam is putter when it falls into a bar. An Adam's a bar dat, and we have a klal sharv below Adam, and therefore an Adam you'd be putter. Ela ma'ata, but the Gemara says, wait 1 second. Adam ben das who the putter? Are you telling me the safka like a smart person? That's where you're putter. Halav ben das to chayiv, but a person who's maybe not as smart, you'd be chayiv. Shar below Adam, it doesn't differentiate between smart people and dumb people, right? So how could that be? So Ella, my ben das, min ben das. It says no, ben das doesn't mean a smart individual. It means a person, a human who has intellect. He could be dumb. It doesn't matter exactly, But they persist. The Gemara says, Amar Le, Va'atani, we have another bright that's even more clear. Nafal Asocho Shar ben das pater. It specifically says that when a shar who's a ben das, who's bikeach, falls into a bar, you're going to be pater. So again, where are we over here? The bottom line is we're trying to understand our Mishnah, and we had a certain mahalach, but the problem is the only way to make the mahalach work is to say that a shar that's a cheresh, that's where you're going to be chayv. But a shar that's a bardas, you're going to be pater. The Gemara said, that can't be. We've never seen such a thing. But now the Gemara is persisting and saying we have a brisa that seems to say this pretty mafurish. So Elama Rava says, you know what? That must be the pshat. Shar v'hu cheresh, shar v'hu shotet, shar v'hu katan dafka. You're only going to be chayiv when the shar is a cheresh, or the shar is a shota, or the shar is a katan. Aval shar v'hu bikeach, but if you have a shar that is a regular shar, it's a smart shar, pater, you're going to be pater. My time, the ba'ile iyuna yumezel, because the shar should have watched where it was going. It's not your fault that you have a bar. And tani nami hachi, you have a brisa that supports this. This is what Alan was talking about a minute ago. It says nafal asocho shar cheresh shota v'katan. If a shar that's a cheresh shota v'katan, is walks into your bar, or of a suma, or a blind shar, or a mahalech balayla, or a shar that's just walking at night. Chayv, that's where you're chayv. That's where you really should have made sure that your bar was covered. But bikeach mahalech b'yom pater. We have a shar that's a regular shar and it's walking during the day, so you can assume that it's not going to walk into your bar. I mean, even though it's an animal, it's still sees where it's going.
Brisa to support that.
Exactly. So our Mishnah was a little cryptic, but with help from the brisa, which is a little bit more clear, now we understand. But by the way, it's interesting to speak up. It kind of shifts like the entire Masechta, right? We're learning the Masechta a certain way that shars walking to your bar, you're going to be chayav. Not necessarily, right? It's dafka a shar, maybe it's at nighttime, or it's a shar that's disabled in some way, whatever it is. Okay, this is the last Mishnah of the Perek, and this Mishnah goes through. We'll just speak outside really quickly, and we'll read it inside. Again, in the parsha of bar, it says shar v'chamar, and we just learned from Amud Aleph that it's lav dafka shar and a chamar. It's any animal. The Gemara is going to give 8 or 7 other examples, 8 examples total, where various halachas specify either a type of animal or a behema, but it's really lav dafka, and it's all different types of behemas and chayas and oafs and whatever it is. Okay, so the Mishnah says echad shar ve'echad kol behema l'nefilas habar. Just because it says shar, it's lav dafka, it's all behemas are equal when it comes to the nezek of a bar. Ula Parshas Har Sinai. Same thing when in Parshas Yisro, when God said to Moshe, make sure everyone stays off of Har Sinai and all your animals. I think the Torah specified behema, but it really means everything, ophos and everything else. I actually don't know if anyone owned birds in the midbar, but either way, if they did, it would have been subject to this halacha. Ul tashlume kefa. Same thing. when you steal, I think the pasuk says behema, right? Or maybe it's sorry, maybe the pasuk says al kol davar pesha, al shar, al chamar, al seh, right? So it specifies certain animals, doesn't matter. All animals are chayiv, are going to be subject to this law of the ganev repaying kefil. Ulashavas aveda. All animals are subject to the halacha of Hashavas aveda. The pasuk again specifies v'chein tasa lechamoro, so it specifies chamar, but lav davka chamar. Leprika, right? The pasuk talks about helping out your fellow when it's, I think it's a chamar in the pasuk, but again, lav dafka, it can be a gumel too, it can be anything. It doesn't really matter as long as your friend is, the burden or whatever it is on the animal, you should go and help him out. Well, it could be, well, it's not necessarily,
Chicken.
well, chicken, that's what we were talking about, chicken. And the ostrich, very good, very good. Lachatima, right? This is the pasuk says lo sachsom shar b'disha, right? It specifies muzzling a shar while it's working in the field, but it's lav davka a shar. Right? It can be any whatever you're working, your mule, whatever it is subject to this halacha of lo sachsom. L'kilayim. I think the pasuk says, I think it talks about behema, lo sarbia, maybe it's behema, I don't really know. Either way, this is where we need us back, to help us out with some of these gemaras. But the point is, the halacha is the same, whether it's any type of animal. The halacha of kalayim applies all. Ulish Shabbos, right? The pasuk in Shabbos talks about behemtecha. We'll see in the second set of Sarah Sedibros, it specifies shar and chamar. Lav davka shar and chamar. Any one of your animals, you can't work on Shabbos. V'chein chaya, v'of, v'kiyotze b'hen. So not only behemas, but chayas, but oaks. Im kain lama nemar shar o chamar. So why does the Torah specify in each of these examples? El shdibar kakazav v'hobeh, because again, like take the example of the precast old. I guess typically you're dealing with a chamar, but like it doesn't have to be a chamar, it could be anything else. Okay. So we're just going to work through all of these things. The nefilas habar, how do I know that nefilas habar applies to all animals? So we happen to just see this on Amud Aleph, right? Pesach Yashiv Lebailov, that was the maskan of the Gemara, the pasuk of Pesach Yashiv Lebailov, Div called Islay Bailim Kira Amar, like we just saw in Amud Aleph. Now, Frosh Sinai, how do I know? It says im behema, im ish lo yichya. So bechaya, bechlal behema, use the word behema. Chaya is always included in behema. And im l'rabas is the opos. And the pasuk of im behema or im ish, im is l'rabas as the opos. L'tashlume kefel. Kedamrina, like this is what we're going to see in about a week and a half or so. It says al kol dvar pesha, and it's klal kolal kol davar pshia. The kol includes anything of which I can be liable for. L'shavas haveda. It says lekol avedas achicha. So it's more about anything that, even other animals. Leprika, how do I know this? This is the halacha that I have to help my fellow with his, I don't know, with animals, whatever it is, unloading his animals. So yalef chamar mi Shabbos. So we'll get to Shabbos, and then we're going to learn Gzera Shavah chamar from Shabbos. Lechathima, right? This halacha of not muzzling your animals. Yalef shar mi Shabbos. We learn it out from the Gzera Shavah from Shabbos from shar. Likil ayim. So the Gemara says, where I'm lost of place, l'kalayim, the charisha. There's different halachas of kalayim. So from the halacha of not using kalayim when you're working the animals in the field, when you're plowing, that's yalef shar mishabas. Kalayim the harba, or the kalayim of mating animals together, that's yalef behemtecha mishabas. But the bottom line is, a few of these we had sources, and a lot of them, like 4 of them, we are learning from Shabbos. So now we got to go to the source. We got to understand Shabbos so we can kind of work backwards. So the Gabi Shabbos, and bottom line, Shabbos, right? That seems to be the source for a lot of these. How do I know? So just to speak it out outside first, there's actually 2 sets of Asaras Adibros in the Torah. The first is in Parshas Yisro, and then in Parshas V'etchanan. In Parshas Yisro, right, it says, this is one we're a little bit more familiar with, Losat kol malacha ato ovincha ubitecha va'avdecha va'amasecha v'sharcha v'chamarcha v'chol behemtecha. That's what it says. In the second set of the Asaras Adibros, it said, no, I read the second one. You're right. Parshas Yisro, it says, "L'sasa kol malacha ato ovincha v'techa avdecha va'amascha." Should have realized. And the second set says, so there's the second one adds shar v'chamar and v'chol behemtech. So the Brisa says, the Tanya, Rabbi Yossi Omer Mishum Rabbi Shmuel, b'dibros harishonos nemar avdecha v'amascha v'hemtecha, I think. And then the b'dibros ha'achronos nemar v'sharcha v'chamarcha v'chol behemtech. So it adds sharcha v'chamarcha and it adds the v'chol. Now, in the Shar v'Chamar were included in Kol Behema of the first one. Lama Yatsu, Lomar Lacha, that Ma Shar v'Chamara Amerkan, Chayva O Kiyotze Behen. What's it teaching me? It's teaching me that just like over here, when it says Shar v'Chamar, it's really including all of the animals. Kol Chayva O Kiyotze Behen. So therefore, anytime the Torah uses Chayva O, anytime the Torah includes Shar v'Chamar, it is including Chaya v'Ov. So the Gemara says, Ema, Behema, this is going to be a goofy klal product klal. We're going to try to use a klal product klal by joining the first Aseret Dibros and the second Aseret Dibros. So Ema, Behema, the Dibros Rishonos klal, that's a very inclusive term, the Behema. Sharcha v'chabarcha, the Dibros Achronos prat. Then in Parshas Vaschanan, the Torah uses Sharcha v'chabarcha, that's a prat. We should have a klal prat, and the ain b'klal elamash of a prat. So this halacha of not working your animals on Shabbos should only apply to a shar v'chamar. But the Gemara says, shar v'chamar in midiachrini lo. But the Gemara says, amri v'chol behemtecha deb'shar chronos chazar v'klal. Then in the second star it says v'chol behemtecha. That's a klal pradu klal iatadon ella ke'ein haprat ma haprat mefurish balei af kol balei. That's how I would know that all balei chayim are included. But we're just going to replay the highlight from Amud Aleph, and we're just going to redo exactly what we did in Amud Aleph all over again. But the Gemara says, the Ema Maha Prat Mefurish Davar Shenivlasu Matam Magav Masa Af Kol Davar Shenivlasu Matam Magav Masa. Why are you being so general? Maybe you should say that there's a certain quality that a Shar and a Chamar has, that as Nevelas Matam Magav Masa, so too only animals that they're Nevelas Matam Magav Masa. Aval Ophos Lo Amri Imke Nichtav Rachman Achad Prata. Right? Only say shor or chamar. Why do I need both? Mara says again, Hai nichtav. Which one should we write? Hai nichtav rachmana. Because rachmana shar havimina krav l'gavim mizbeach in she'eno krav l'gavim mizbeach lo. Because rachmana chamar. Because rachmana chamar havimina kadosh mechora in she'en kadosh mechora lo. Therefore, because rachmana shar. Bottom line, where are we? We have a klal product klal. How do I know that the Isra of Shabbos should extend to things like ophos, where their nevela is not metam magav masa? I should have a klal product klal that teaches me that the only animals that are subject to the halacha of not working your animals on Shabbos are animals that are similar to a shar and a chamar. So Ella b'chol behemtecha riboyhu. The Gemara says, forget the klal product klal. That's not what's going on here. Rather, in the Tibros Achronos, it says b'chol behemtecha. That's a riboy, and that riboy teaches me all animals are subject to this thing. But the Gemara says, hold on. The kol, right? That's a riboy. So the kol, kol, riboy who? Is that really true? That you can't learn a klal product klal anytime it says the word kol? The hagabi meiser, by meiser sheni, dichsev kol, because there's shino le b'kal prat. Tanya, you have a brisa. It says v'nasata hakesef b'chol asher tava nafshecha klal. So again, what's the halacha of meiser sheni? You have your stuff, your podet, some money, and you take your money to bring it to Yerushalayim. Right, and you buy stuff. What are you allowed to buy? So the Torah says it's a klal pradu klal. Right, the pasuk starts says v'nasata hakesef b'chol asher tava nafshecha. You can spend it on anything you want. And then it says bakar v'ton v'yayin v'sheichar. So then it's prat. It says very specific things: bakar, ton, yayin, sheichar. But then it says v'chol asher tishalcha nafshecha. It goes back to being a klal. So the brisa said in Tanya v'nasata hakesef b'chol asher tava nafshecha klal. The bakar v'ton of yayin v'sheichar prat. Uv'chol asher tishalcha nafshecha chazar v'klal. Klal u'pradu klal. Iatadan elakena prat. Ma prat mefurish mipri v'gedulei karka. Akol pri v'gedulei karka. And what the Bryce is saying over there is there's a klal u'pradu klal. What am I allowed to use my money, my master sheni money on? It's pretty much anything, but how is it similar to these prats? It has to be something that proliferates. It's pri, and it's gedulei karka. All of these examples were things that proliferate, and they are gedulei karka. But I don't understand. Amri,
Buy animals.
what?
You can buy an animal for food.
Well, I think the point is that the animals proliferate,
Yeah.
and they're also gedulei karka.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
they
they
eat from the ground. Yeah. But what's the question? You just told me that vikol can't be used in a klal protocol. It's a riboy. But the second klal in this Meister Sheni says kol, right? It says uva kol. Sorry. So the Gemara says, no. Hi, kol dahacha riboihu. The kol by us is a riboy. I missed the place. Sorry. Amri ba kol is a klala. No. Ba kol, that's a klala. But kol is a riboy. In the pasuk of Ma'aser Sheni, it says bekol. By our pasuk, it says vikol with a vav. So kol or vikol with a vav, that's the riboy. Vikol with a bays, that's a klal product klal. So you have to understand that answer. But that's the answer. Ibai saying maybe a second answer, maybe a better answer is kol nami klalu. No. Klal, you're right, is normally a klal. Miu hi kol dahacha. Our example in the Aseres Dibros is a riboyu mitahavle lemichtav ubehemtecha, because it should have just said behemtecha, like I said in the first Aseres Dibros. Kidchsev bedibros hari shonos uksiv b'chol behemtecha shma mina riboy. So because they use a different lashon than what it said in the first Aseres Dibros, that gives us license to say it's not a klal product klal and it's really a riboy. Well, let's just finish up the blot. Hasha de Amrit, call riboy who. Now they are telling me that call in the Aseres Dibros is a riboy. So then, behemtecha de dibros harishonos and shar v'chamar de dibros harachronos lamali. Now they are telling me that call behemtecha is a riboy and it's marba everything. I've got a lot of extra words. Now, why did I need shar and chamar? Why did I need call behemtecha? So now we go back to the first Gemara after the Mishnah, and we said we learned all these extra words. They were learned for Gzera Shavas to teach me all these halachas by Prika and by Chasima. That's what we're going to say now. So Amri Shar, the extra word Shar in Parshas Vayeschanan is Lagmure Shar Lachasima. Chamar, the extra word Chamar is Lagmure Chamar Leprika. Behemtecha Lagmure Behemtecha Lekil Ayim. One last Gemara. In the pasuk of the Aseres Dibros, we also include Adam. We didn't need to include Adam. We had a rivoy of kol. What do I do with Adam? So maybe I should say that the same way that an Adam is included in the parsha of Shabbos, an Adam should be included in the parsha of Kalaim, so that I shouldn't be able to work with my animals in the field. Alama Tanan Adam Mutter in Kulan Lachrosh Vilim Shoch. Samara Papa Papunai Yadi Taima. Papunai knew the answer here. Umanu, who is Papunai? It's Rabacha Bar Yaakov, and he said, Amar Kra, Laban Yunuach Avdecha Amaskach Kamocha. In the pasuk in the Aseres Dibros, it talks about the Avdecha and Amaskach, and it says, why can you not work them on Shabbos? So that they should rest, like you. So when it comes to rest, that's where I include Adam. I don't necessarily include Adam in all the other parshios, including, Kilah.